Oh, we're so back. We're doing the sequel to one of my favorite episodes of Movie Tales, The Three Musketeers, which was a movie that surprised me so much because I had no idea what to expect. They filmed a sequel back to back of the original, which shows you the confidence in this thing. Because normally we wouldn't do a sequel to a Musketeers like this. But hey, there you go. It's the Four Musketeers, everyone. 1974's The Four Musketeers. They're all back, all of your favorites. Michael York, Oliver Reed, Richard Chamberlain, Frank Finley, Faye Dunaway, Raquel Welch, Charlton Heston, Christopher Lee. They're all back. Everyone's back. Geraldine Chaplin is back. Everyone is back here to make the sequel to the movie that blew my mind. We don't do it like this anymore. And there's probably for good reason because this is an insane movie. This to me, and I might be in the minority here, I doubt it. This is the pinnacle of filmmaking. This is like one of the greatest cinematic achievements I've ever witnessed. Because what is this? What were we doing? It's like we were having fun in the first one, but this one's like, what if we were having cartoonish levels of fun on a scale larger than the Three Musketeers? Which I didn't think was possible because that movie is so not serious. Raquel Welch is just like a joke that everyone's pining for. This movie should be called The Boys Are Having a Goof and Everyone is Hot for Faye Dunaway. That is this movie. Because nothing serious is happening. There's major cataclysmic deaths in this movie, and we just kind of shrug them off. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? So it's the sequel to the first movie. We helped the King of Buckingham hide his relationship with the Queen of France. The King's starting to get a little bit suspicious about it. There's the necklace that has been returned. We're all very thankful for that. This movie opens up, and Constance is kidnapped. Raquel Welch is kidnapped, and D'Artagnan is like, "Where'd you go?" And then he instantly meets a beautiful woman, Milady de Winter. Actually, let's scratch that. The way this movie opens up is with Porthos giving us some narration about the previous movie. So if you forgot, there's a little bit of a refresher. And then immediately, there you go. Constance is kidnapped. D'Artagnan meets Lady de Winter. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm hot for you now, even though I just had my girl. And then the entire time this movie is happening, it's a crisis of like commitment for D'Artagnan. Like, yeah, Constance, I mean, Raquel Welch or Faye Dunaway. I don't really know which one I like more. And then he sleeps with another person. He sleeps with the Winter's, like, I guess it's like her handmaiden or something. And you're like, what is going on? Why is Michael York getting so much action in this stupid, silly movie? It's amazing. It's so funny and it's so dumb. And Raquel Welch isn't in this one that much. But we have a cavalcade of just stupid sex jokes where it's like, man, we're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna break the bed, and the bed breaks, and it's insane. And the budget is still there. So many times we just cut to wide shots of just actors jumping off of high places, having boulders knocked on top of them. I just don't understand what we're doing, but I'm here for every second of it. So Milady de Winter's the bad guy here. She's kind of working for the Cardinal. And Heston's not in it too much. He's kind of just like the bookend of the piece, which makes sense. But Christopher Lee is back. Big old wig, big old eye patch, just ready to do some justice. But at the same time, this entire like thing is happening with D'Artagnan and Milady de Winter. There's a war breaking out. So just sporadically throughout the movie, we'll cut to the Musketeers joining the war effort. And they'll just like show up and like, oh, we have to take that castle. Like we literally stopped the plot for like 20 minutes of this movie so the Three Musketeers and D'Artagnan can like settle a bet they had with like one of the generals. Like, I bet you we can get to that building and have breakfast there. They're gonna take over a castle, have breakfast, and then like the rest of the war can happen. And then they just go do that. And it's just, I can't even explain the comedy that comes with them taking this castle. It is just so insane. Just like the jokes with firing the guns, the jokes with like using a loaf of bread as a hockey stick or a golf club. I don't know what they had back then to just launch a grenade back towards the incoming enemies. And then it gets stuck in the bread and then they have to throw the bread down. And I just love it so much. Like, it's just not taking itself seriously in the slightest. And they end the battle at the castle by knocking over a wall and killing people. And you actually see the rubble fall down and crush these people. Now, I know it's not a real wall, but that still looks like it would hurt. It is just so freaking insane. The random moments we have with this, the King of Buckingham, he gets in a submarine and he's like, I don't know why I'd ever need to be in one of these. And the guy that invented the submarine was just like, what if you want to take the Queen of France? He's like, well, then I'll have her because we love each other. I'm not taking her this like weird, stupid contraption. Why was that in there? It's so bizarre. Just so we have like moments with the king before we like kill him because we unceremoniously kill him and you're like, okay. It's so bizarre. I don't understand half of this movie. It's the best thing I've ever seen achieved. And then it's just, the Musketeers are being the Musketeers. Porthos is a little bit of a goofy boy. There's a fight where we like go on some ice and it's just a bunch of grown men slipping about. And then you see Christopher Lee and Michael York get trapped in the ice. And then you see Porthos come in to try to help, but he gets trapped in the ice. And it's just the funniest stuff ever. And it's so specific and dumb. But there's also like an emotional through line, like the tension between D'Artagnan trying to figure out who he loves, who he wants to be with, because the same woman that is kind of pining for him and like doing her like lulls with him, well, that's Athos's like ex. We get like an entire sequence where Athos is just like, there was a man I knew who knew a woman once, and this man I knew was with this woman once, and she was bad for him. And let me explain that to you. He found out that she was like a charlatan and she was like a bad person, like a thief and an assassin and a dangerous man. And he killed her, but he didn't kill her. And she killed him, but she didn't kill him. It's just Oliver Reed so sweaty and disheveled and just gross, pining for this woman that's going to ruin him. And then the sequence when they reunite and it's just Reed and Dunaway in this room and she loses all semblance of power. And he's just like, yes, that's what I thought. That's everything I thought. Just this insanely confident, crazy guy just losing his mind. It's the best stuff you've ever seen. It's so good. It's so stupid and good. I love every second of that dumb energy. And look, let's just talk about Faye Dunaway for a minute. Given the impossible task of being the most beautiful person to ever exist and being the most dangerous person to ever exist, she's playing all sides, baby. She's playing everybody. And every single male character is just hot for her on an inconceivable level. D'Artagnan, Christopher Lee, Athos. She gets like in prison at one point for her crimes and she seduces like the jailer so she can escape with like her feminine Christian woes. And you're like, that is insane. And it's so cool. And this guy's like, I had to. She was too pretty. And I love every sequence in her house because it's just D'Artagnan flailing about with a monkey on like a stand and this woman who's hot for him, this other woman who's hot for him. And he's just like, I got to get out of here with my clothes on, but that seemed like an impossible task. What are we doing? I love it. I just think Michael York is slowly becoming my favorite actor ever. Just like watching his performance in this, it's just like watching a young man just commit to something so heavily and insanely that it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. He is so goofy and flippy and silly. I love it so much. He's just doing some great stuff. So Constance is freed because she gets kidnapped by the Cardinal in the winter. They free her because like she's on like the top floor of a castle. So we get big stilts and just walk her out so she doesn't get eaten by the dogs. So she's free. We take her to a convent so she'll be safe there. But the bad guys get information that she's at this convent. So we have to get there and stop that before things get worse. So this movie kind of, it goes all over the place. It's grown men pining for Faye Dunaway. We're in the middle of a war. It's so much slapstick, silly shit just happening. Taking itself so seriously. Everybody is so committed. And the movie takes us to our final climactic ending, which is a fight in like this convent where we burn down a building. A subplot of this is just like Aramis and Porthos just having this insane competition of like, you're a little dumb and I'm a little cool guy, so what if we did a dumb guy and cool guy stuff? So they accidentally burn down a building, throwing swords at each other and all that stuff. It's very fun. And then we think we're going to save Constance, but De Winter kills her before D'Artagnan can even get there. So it ends with him having a fight with Christopher Lee. A beautiful fight. What I love about these fight scenes in this movie is just like the wide shots where we're certainly just seeing two actors in a big empty space whipping each other with weapons, just getting tired. Like everybody gets so sweaty and tired in this movie that they have to take breaks in the fight, and everyone's like such a gentleman that they're like, yeah, we can take the break. So they take the breaks and it's really fun. But we kill Christopher Lee, and then we capture Milady de Winter, and then we have the most insane final act of a movie ever, where we kidnap de Winter, we hire an executioner to take her out on a boat and chop her head off, and then we do like, it's four grown men watching a woman get beheaded. And you're just like, yeah, they all want her to die, so she's going to die. So all of the women die in this movie practically. It's so weird. It is so weird. And then the movie ends because D'Artagnan's going to be reprimanded by the Cardinal, played by Heston. But Heston's like, I guess you got friends in high places because you managed to get this document that I made that, like, dictates every action you've taken here. And he's like, well, I guess I'm foiled. You found me out, D'Artagnan, so here, I'm going to give you a last bit of comeuppance. You're going to be a lieutenant in the war, signed to you or any of your, friends of the Musketeers. So the movie ends with D'Artagnan having this letter like, I could be a lieutenant in the war. I don't want to. Athos, he's like, no. Aramis, he's like, no. Porthos, I don't want to be in war. And they're like, well, it's too bad every woman we ever loved just died like a couple minutes ago, because this would be a weird way to end a movie. And then Porthos wraps up like, that's our boy. I remember when he first showed up here like a weird goofball, and now he's like a grown-up goofball. And that's where the movie ends. And we just spent an hour and 48 minutes just watching these grown men mess about in every aspect of their life and get everyone they know killed. But hey, at least they have each other, and they won a war, I guess. It's so bizarre. But the thing is, like, we're looking at grand scale stuff. There's so many big sets and so many people in costumes. Like, there are so many background characters and extras. Like, the choreography is very cartoony, which is people flailing about, but it's so well designed, so nuanced, and everyone is just giving great face. There is so many great faces in this movie. Every single person is doing a great face. It is incredible. It is inconceivable. It is amazing. It's amazing what we're doing here. It's such a good movie. It has no right to be this good, but I love every second of this stupid piece. I love every piece of dialogue. I love every time Michael York and Faye Dunaway have to interact, because it's just two attractive people freaking each other out with what's going on around them. It's amazing. I cannot believe I love this movie as much as I did, but it's perfect. It is perfect. I want more. Maybe I just like the Musketeers too much. Because I even liked that new one that came out, like the French one, with Eva Green and Vincent Kissel. I really liked that one too. Just great stuff, great storytelling. My God, The Four Musketeers is a perfect film. And we're going to wrap up this episode of Dynamic Tales by saying all for one and one for all. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.